Breaking news right now. The New York Times is reporting tonight that Brett Kavanaugh was questioned by police after a bar fight back in 1985. Kavanaugh was an undergraduate student at Yale at the time. And according to this police report obtained by the New York Times, the 21-year-old victim accused Kavanaugh of throwing ice on him, quote, for some unknown reason. A witness claims another one of Kavanaugh's friends hit the man then in the ear with a glass. The victim, according to the police report, was treated at a hospital. Kavanaugh was not arrested, and Kavanaugh has not responded to this report this evening. Out front with me now, though, Democratic Congressman from California, Eric Swalwell. He sits on the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, thanks for coming in.
Good evening, Kate. Thanks for having me back.
Thank you so much. So now you have another story coming out tonight about Kavanaugh and an incident involving drinking, according to a police report. What do you think this does to his nomination?
Well, Kate, typically this would not be disqualifying for any Supreme Court nominee, the fact that they drank in college like most people in college
Right.
do. However, it is disqualifying because he has painted himself as a choir boy who never engaged in any of this behavior, and all of the evidence seems to go the other way. And so I think we just have to ask ourselves, if he's willing to lie about something so small like that, would he also be willing to lie about some of these larger allegations? That's what's so concerning.
Do you think, and this is still coming out in source to the New York Times in this police report, do you think something like this, something like a bar fight, is something that the FBI should be including in its new investigation?
As it relates to his truthfulness before the Senate Confirmation Committee, yes. As it relates to anything else, no. But he has put his character and the way that he says he conducted himself now on the line, and I think up for being tested or corroborated. And right now, there's not really anyone who's willing to come forward and say that Brett Kavanaugh is the person that Brett Kavanaugh has told everyone he was in college.
Well, there are a couple. The White House has put out a couple of friends who are defending him. I want to get to that in just one second. But on this police report that was filed, this account filed as a police report, it's back in 1985 again. It sounds something similar to an incident that Kavanaugh's former classmate, Chad Ludington, who is speaking out, that he talked about in a statement. And let me read that statement to you. In part, it says, on one of the last occasions, I purposely socialized with Brett. He said that he witnessed him after a semi-hostile remark, not by diffusing the situation, but by throwing his beer in the man's face. Could be the same thing, could be different. This is all just coming out. If this is a pattern, what does it mean?
Well, the arrows continue to point in the same direction, which is that this was a person who conducted himself in an aggressive way, especially when he was drinking. And we saw that same aggression on display during his opening statement and as he went back and forth with many of the senators. And I would just say this, Kate, the standard should not be, can he be criminally charged? This is a job interview, and I don't think he should be hired. But if they want to raise the standard to a criminal standard, I would also put in this jury instruction that every jury in America is told, that a single witness can prove any fact if you believe that witness. And I think America believed, for good reason, the account of Dr. Ford. And so she herself was credible. Anything else that corroborates who he was or what she is saying, I think just adds more reasons not to hire him.
Well, a couple of things on that, though. The White House today, though, did put out a statements from two college friends of Kavanaugh's who say from their perspective, they never once saw him black out. So if you're going to believe, accounts of one friend, you have to take into account also the accounts of other friends who say this is not the Kavanaugh that they know, the one not getting into a bar fight.
Yeah, Kate, I mean, as you know, I think most people know, there's no indicator light that goes on when you're walking around and you're blacked out. And blacked out doesn't mean that you're actually passed out. People all the time go beyond their, drinking capabilities and do things that they regret the next day. So I don't really buy that, but I do buy the stories that I've seen in the New Yorker that it's been very hard to get people in this boys' club of Judge Kavanaugh's to talk or to go on the record out of fear of retribution because of the close-knit circle that existed at Georgetown Prep and at Yale College.
Let me ask you this, Congressman. The reason this FBI investigation is taking place is because of Republican Senator Jeff Flake. He insisted on it. I want to play for you what Flake told 60 Minutes last night about his decision.
You've announced that you're not running for re-election, and I wonder, could you have done this if you were running for
No.
re-election?
No, not a chance.
Not a chance.
No.
Because politics has become too sharp, too partisan.
There's no value to reaching across the aisle. There's no currency for that anymore. There's no incentive.
Can you acknowledge the same, that you've had to make decisions like that?
Well, no, I acknowledge, I'm grateful Jeff Flake did what he did. I'll just relate back to the Russia investigation when I was trying to get colleagues to work with me in a bipartisan way. And I heard so many Republicans say that if Donald Trump tweets at me, he wins. And I started to realize what they were saying was that their job would be at risk if they spoke out. And Kate, what I don't understand is,
can you at least
we are
acknowledge that
members of
Democrats
Congress.
and Republicans are alike in what Jeff Flake said? You're not saying the Democrats are immune from that amount of pressure. You guys always, especially in the House, the moment you get elected, you're running again and fundraising again.
Sure. But I would hope, Kate, that members of Congress are otherwise employable elsewhere, and this is not the only job that we could hold. It is a lesson for me, though, because I know how upset I am by not seeing Republicans stand up to the president, that I may be in a position one day where I need to stand up to someone in my own party, and I hate how I feel about what they're doing, and I want to make sure I hold myself to that same standard, because it is awful that no Republican can come forward other than Jeff Flake to just say this is wrong.
We'll hold you to that standard as well. Don't worry, Congressman. Thank you.
You better. I hope you do. Thank you.
I appreciate you coming in. Thanks for jumping in on the breaking news. Thanks so much.